Chrissy, a lot of people didn't believe you that Amazon was really going to go deep here, and here they are. What do you make of One Medical being added to the portfolio?
Oh, it's just absolutely massive news, Emily. And it's really a long time coming. I first started reporting on Amazon having ambitions in the space back in 2017. Pharmacy was really the first leg of the stool. And then you saw them tackling telemedicine with Amazon Care. And now they've moved into primary care with One Medical. Not only primary care in the sense of consumer cash pay primary care, but One Medical has networks and relationships with lots of employers across the country. They have their own medical record that they built from the ground up. So they also have healthcare software that will be amazing for Amazon to access, and no doubt kind of part of the reasoning behind this deal. So I think where they go from here, the sky is the limit, and I could see them integrating all of these offerings into something very powerful.
What exactly does that look like to you? I mean, are we going to be getting our blood pressure checked at Whole Foods? Do patients even want that?
I think all of these things are absolutely possible. I mean, what they fundamentally recognized here is that the future of healthcare is hybrid. It's not just telemedicine, it's not just virtual, and it's not brick and mortar either. It's something in between, because you can't really do everything from home as much as we would love to. But eventually you will need to go somewhere to get your blood pressure checked if you need it. So yes, that's a possibility. Blood pressure checks at Whole Foods, why not? And while we're at it, I could absolutely see Whole Foods expanding deeper into pharmacy as well. So that's just one of the kind of many directions that they could go with this buy-up. I think at the end of the day, how I see it is fundamentally about Amazon's obsession with the customer. And they've been saying this for decades now, first with books, and then they moved into other areas of retail. And so this just seems so obvious to me, because it was really the last piece of their retail empire that they hadn't conquered, healthcare. So now, they've signaled to the industry that this is something that they are moving into, and they're deadly serious about it.
There have been some comparisons to Kaiser here. Do you think that Amazon could potentially be a competitor to Kaiser?
It's a great question. I think of Kaiser more in the sense of, imagine if Kaiser was starting today, what would they build? And that's really kind of the question that Amazon has in front of them. They wanted to be one of the most innovative healthcare care delivery companies. What would they do? And I think that involves having it all, having, the pharmacy piece, the lab and diagnostic piece, having that primary care piece as well. And then I think too about what they could do with the referral networks that they're building with health systems. How do you send patients to the right care at the right time? And that really is the promise here, Emily, that for years, the space has been talking about building a true front door to healthcare. You're a patient, you need help. What do you do next? How do you access care at the right price? And I think that's really what Amazon could do, and they could be the first player to do it.
Well, it hasn't all gone right. Amazon, for example, that JP Morgan healthcare venture with Berkshire half of the way collapsed. It didn't last very long. Meantime, you've got Apple pushing into this business. How do you see Amazon differentiating itself from, let's say, an Apple? I mean, just yesterday we were asking if Apple might buy Peloton. Could that be something of interest to Amazon as well?
I think Peloton could be of interest to both companies. The difference I see with Amazon, though, is they could really do something in actual healthcare services and delivery, because they're not afraid of low margin businesses. When you look at some of their big tech competitors, they're used to kind of SaaS-like software margins, and with Apple, it's a hardware play at its core. So it doesn't make as much sense to be in the actual provision of healthcare that it might for Amazon, which is really a supply chain and logistics company. So I think Amazon really has the biggest promise here of all of the big tech companies to do something very real. And then you mentioned Haven, which is a great point. That was not a successful venture. They teamed up with two other big employers to try to do something in that space. But to me, when I was back at CNBC and this all was unveiled, it was kind of felt like a little bit of a distraction, that maybe the real healthcare push would happen behind the scenes. And I think that's exactly what's happened.